What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. First off, I just want to thank you all for your support for this channel, watching all the previous videos and videos moving forward. Please remember to like and subscribe. It does help the algorithm with YouTube push it out to wider audiences and to help people moving in Arizona or relocating to Arizona. Guys, today we're going to be talking a little bit about a unbiased or a different opinion based on kind of where I'm coming from working in the mortgage industry. We're going to be talking about when is it a good time for you to rent instead of buying a home, because there has been certain situations where I have recommended to people that they should rent instead of buy. So let's go through those and see if it makes sense for you to rent or to buy. Let's get into that. Guys, I know that you would think that I'm kind of biased on this subject and that I would push people to buy a home over renting. That's not always the case. There has been certain situations where I've sat people down and I've told them, look, it's going to make more sense for you to rent right now instead of buying a home. So let's go through a few of those situations and see if it applies to you. So number one, in certain self-employment situations, it's actually going to make more sense for you to rent over buying. I remember specifically working with one guy a couple years ago that had a business that he had just started. And so he had filed taxes for the last 2 years, but it was just a starting business. And so he had quite a few write-offs on his taxes. And so what this means is we weren't able to use quite a bit of income for him to purchase the home that he wanted to buy. Well, he ended up getting qualified for a lower purchase price based on the income that we could use, and he insisted on buying a home. He ended up buying the home and then sold it a year later after being unhappy in the home with him and his family. In that situation, I had previously sat him down and I said, look, this is what the income we can use, and you want to get qualified for X amount. Well, we need more income. In order for us to do that, what I would usually recommend is get with your CPA for the next filing year of taxes and make sure that they allow you to show more income on that return so we can use it when you're qualifying for your mortgage. In that type of situation, especially in this guy's current situation, he had actually the next year filed taxes showing and reporting more income, and so he was able to buy a house that he and his family did like. And so they ended up losing money on the previous home that they didn't like, and so that was kind of the downside. But in that type of situation where you're not reporting enough income to buy something that you would be happy with, I would have recommended him to rent instead of buy. So number two, relocation. There's been certain situations where somebody has been moving into the state and they are currently employed with an employer that actually has them jumping from state to state to state. And so in this type of situation, I would sit them down and I would say, look, how long do you expect to be here in the state? If they say within a year or two that they're going to end up moving, then we would want to know, what is your plan with this property? Do you plan on selling it within a year or two when you relocate? Or do you plan on retaining it as an investment property and have it income producing for your portfolio moving forward? In the situation where they plan on keeping it as an investment property, I would typically, if it makes sense for them and their current financial situation, I would have recommended them to buy. But if they are hopping from state to state and they are having to sell these properties before they end up moving, I would typically recommend that they end up go rent for a while until they know that they're going to be in a state for a long amount of time. So there's another reason why, or situation that I would recommend a rental over purchasing. Number three, credit issues. So this is kind of a self-explanatory topic. But if you have credit issues right now and you're looking to buy, most of the situations, I would recommend that you end up renting while you repair credit. There are certain loans that you can buy a house with lower credit, but however, it would mean you would have a higher payment, a higher interest rate, higher fees altogether. And so most of the time, if you're in a certain price range, then it's going to make sense for you to save a little bit of money short term while you rent until you can repair credit and get it to a point where it makes more sense for you to obtain a better looking loan to buy a home in the future. Number 4, the unfamiliarity of an area. Most of the time this applies to anybody relocating into a certain area from out of state and they don't know exactly what's around in that area. I would typically recommend, one, you do a lot of research before moving into that certain city or area to make sure that you know exactly what you're getting into. And in certain cases, I do recommend that they actually rent something while they get to know the area and their surroundings, because you don't want to be stuck in a situation where you bought a home and you don't like your surroundings, you don't like your area, and you want to move as soon as possible. Then you'd be stuck in a home that you may not be able to sell for a certain amount of time to get out from under it. So typically that would be another situation where I recommend renting instead of buying while you get to know your surroundings. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching today. Hopefully that gives you a good idea of whether or not it's a better decision for you to rent or to buy a property when moving into Arizona or around Arizona. Guys, if you have any questions, please leave a comment below. Until the next video, have a great one. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.